This video will contain spoilers for Avengers Endgame, so please, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's awesome. And then come back and watch this video. Infinity War is easily one of the best Marvel movies ever, but half of the population disappearing and then 5 years later coming back would have some real negative side effects that I don't think Thanos or anyone else ever intended. Starting with the snap, or the decimation, and a number of people have already covered the negative effects that the snap would cause, so I'll make this part brief. There are so many ways that the snap would end up killing more than half of the population, from cars and planes crashing, to the government collapsing, to hospitals becoming dysfunctional, and these are just the effects that happen instantly. Over time, our resources would begin to diminish because trade would collapse, and there would simply be less farmers and other people who help make our food. There are so many other negative effects that the snap would have, and if you want to check those out, just search "if the snap really happened," and there are plenty of other videos you can watch. For now, I'm going to talk about what would happen when everyone came back. Based on the evidence we see in Endgame, we can assume that everybody who was dusted comes back to the exact same place where they were. So this means that anybody who is in a car would end up in the road, and tons of people would probably be hit or just cause cars to crash, killing the people inside. In addition to that, anybody who was traveling by boat or on a cruise or something like that would just end up falling into the ocean. And I'm sure a lot of these people could be saved, but plenty of them would still end up drowning. And then anybody who was on a plane would just fall out of the sky. And then there's the government and how messed up it would be. Imagine the new president entering his office to find the old president who had died 5 years earlier sitting at his desk. Or all the people who didn't get a say on who the new president would be. It would be chaos. Looking outside the US, imagine if the Queen of England got dusted. Then the next person in line who didn't get dusted would become the monarch, only for everybody above them to come back. That seems like it would be a pretty difficult situation. Let's say that in these 5 years the world is able to put itself back together, and the production and distribution of food is going good enough to feed the half of the population that remains. Well, now all of a sudden the people who need food has doubled. Also, for all the people who got dusted, it was instantaneous. So I'm sure a lot of people would go into panic when their loved ones were 5 years older or possibly dead. There would be plenty of hysterical people who wouldn't be able to accept the change and would cause lots of issues for everybody else. Not to mention the fact that I've only talked about Earth, but this happened everywhere. What if there was a planet in the middle of a world war? The snap happens during a huge battle and half of each side is killed. Then, during the next 5 years, the war ends and the planet is at peace. But then, one day, half of the population comes back, thinking they are still at war, and the fighting continues, and the war is started all over again. Or what about anybody who is traveling through space? One moment you're just sitting down traveling to some planet, but the next moment you're in space, dead, because you can't survive in space. So let's imagine for a second that Bruce took into account all the people that would have died if they had appeared in the same place where they were dusted. So then what does he do? Just make it so they appear to the nearest safe place? Because that would just strand a whole bunch of people in random places. And speaking of being stranded, what if there was a town that was abandoned in the 5 years? Then all of a sudden half the population is back and they are stuck there with no food, so that sucks. Overall, I think the snap, and I guess the snap back, would be pretty devastating, and I don't think Thanos really thought through his plan to save the universe. I think Black Widow can say it a lot better than I could.
You amazingly failed.
Thank you so much for watching, and I do really hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss any videos from me in the future. But anyways, that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you next time. Overall, I think the snap and I guess the snap